Good morning, all you red-blooded, hard-working American citizens. Welcome back to my table. I just got done dropping a video about the cops. Only way to fix some of these issues in our life is from within, from the good people within. There's good people in every group. That's why I don't discriminate against anybody in any group. And if you want to participate in the only way that we can somehow peacefully, collectively come together and start taking back control of the different aspects of our lives, maybe make it so that way your opinion is actually heard and taken into consideration compared to what we got now. But you're welcome here, as long as you can leave the hate at the door and you don't want to try to downgrade and belittle people that might have a different understanding of these different issues than you do. By all means, come. I know for a fact we're almost there. We're ready. We just need a way to organize and collectively group together. I know most everybody, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, it does not matter. We all know that there are aspects of our life and certain people that are controlling aspects of our life in the direction we don't want to go no more. So you see how through the COVID they affected all of us. It didn't discriminate against race, religion, political views. It affected all of us in one way, shape, or form. And then we had those protests with George Floyd, right? I'm not a part of that, like the stuff that they were doing in the cities, like destruction. Literally makes no sense destroying your own community. And there's a lot that goes to that. Just like with the January 6th, just like there's a lot of what I call bad cops that literally infiltrate different groups and try to control and manipulate them. Now, I want good cops to be in my group because, like, if the good cops are here, then they will be able to help us keep the bad ones out. Nowadays, it almost seems like the people who are starting violence in any engagement is the cops when it comes to like peaceful protests, right? And they're getting caught left and right. Like, why would anybody want to join and do that job? I don't. I wished I could, like, help people, but not with that group. Not yet. It's time for us to start fixing things. So that stuff happened with George Floyd. When back in 2019, literally in my hometown, county I live in the greatest state of Ohio, they had a man in jail literally in their prisons and 5 corrections officers ended up killing this man in just the same way as they did is what happened with George Floyd. Difference was that they did this in their prison, recording the whole thing. Actually, I think that's standard protocol. Took 2 years to get the video out. So I'm going to show you some of it. You can look for it on your own. His name's Alexander Rios. 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 And watch the whole thing for yourself. By all means, it breaks my heart. So let's roll into this video a little bit. You folks see that? That dude was quick. Like, I've had my own experiences with law enforcement and how to do stuff. By all means, I'm like not discrediting people, but they should have like done better right off the rip. But that dude was quick. I don't know all the ins and outs. I tried to read up on it. I know that they ended up paying out his mom, if I'm not mistaken, like $4 million that directly comes from Richland County, the cop department, the budget. I would much rather see $4 million literally going to the employees that have to work and do this compared to paying some lawsuit because whatever they're doing ain't right. It just seems to me like a waste of money. When I do the video on my experience in corrections, I'll explain what South Carolina does when they get their budget every year, or at least used to when I worked there. So this dude slipped away. Probably put all these cops on edge, which is fine. I understand that. I can understand. We gotta get this guy, get him down.
Use your taser. Crazy. Take it off. All right. It's so much. Can you explain to me? Because you're a dumbass. No, you're the dumbass. I didn't say you were. Fucking took out after the set. Really? Yeah, he's looking. Oh! Oh, shit.
Now you can see right there. You see this man's foot on his spine right there, on his back, in between his shoulder blades. That, I'm pretty positive, when you watch this man put all his weight on that one foot and almost bounce right there. And he's one of the biggest people I see in there. I worked in corrections down in South Carolina. If I would have stayed in that line of work, I definitely would be one of the people that was on the SWAT team in case when anything bad pops off, and just get everything squared away. Like, I like excitement, the adrenaline rush, and sometimes criminals, hey, like, you literally have to do everything they tell you to when you're in jail. If you don't, you're liable to get caught, and there's always consequences sometimes. Part of the reason why I got out of corrections was because sometimes if you got a major that lets people get away with stuff, it's kind of hard to keep the respect that you walk into having that job. But this man ended up dying with a buttload of corrections officers, but they work for the Richland County Sheriff's Department, my hometown. And it breaks my heart that there's potentially could be good people being in a situation like this, but then what you're taught literally kills folks. And they say that he did not die. I think in the article it said he was still alive for like 8 days. But when you watch this video, you know that man was dead when they tried to put him in the chair. That man was dead. They might have been able to force oxygen in his body so it didn't all the way give out for 8 days. But that's when that man died. So how do we fix this? All the good corrections officers, when you work next to what potentially is bad corrections officers, you see something, you say something. You see one of them doing something, treating people a certain way, it only makes your job harder, just like with the cops. You see something, say something. You see some dude going over the line, just be like, hey, calm down. You're stepping over the line. And if they want to continue, then you call it out. Be like, hey, radio in. I think I have COVID. Officer such and such is doing whatever to this one inmate. I'm going to go ahead and use some of my time off and go get vaxxed or go get a COVID test, because I'm not watching this no more. And you leave. go get your COVID test. You literally have to stop being backup for these people. It inevitably will put you in a bad situation to where you're participating in something like this. Gotta fix it from within. And by all means, it goes to the highest levels. So, in my next video, I'm going to talk about my experience working in corrections down in South Carolina. So that way, maybe you folks that hopefully will help might understand that I literally took my time and engaged in different aspects of these systems that are just totally failing us. And until we actually start doing something like an independent Ohio, grouping together collectively, really communicating, trying to get down to the bottom of why these things are occurring in our society. Nobody rioted for this man. You all, I didn't hear nothing about it till after the George Floyd thing. And this is in my own hometown community. I want it fixed. Not for me. Not for most you older folks neither. We was able to actually live during a good time. But for our kids, for our future grandchildren, that's why we want to fix this stuff. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and hear of another school shooting where a buttload of cops stood outside the classroom while somebody is in there slaughtering our children. I'm not on that team. If you're on that team, like, good luck. Keep on doing whatever you're doing. It ain't getting no better. So, to each their own. Good luck to all. I hope you got something or you can feel my pain. Because it's collectively our pain. And it doesn't matter whether you're black, brown, or white. This can happen to any one of us. So, I love y'all until you give me a reason to not. And let's get this message out. Let's try to get this thing going.